Hey, before
Howdy.
before this episode starts, I want to say really quick that we ended up doing a time skip. We ended up scrapping a couple episodes just for time and efficiency's sake, so that's going to reflect on the next episodes because we're going to reference the episodes that we ended up scrapping.
Woo, woo. Those episodes no longer exist.
Yes, so yeah, that's all. Back to the episodes. Welcome everybody to another episode of Okay. During my intro, Zach, right in front of my salad. Listen.
I got water on my mic. Sorry.
I paid for that mic, Zach. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Uneducation Station. I am the host for today, Anuki, our third. Yeah, that's it. All right, that's all I got. And then here with me is Zach, once again. It's not gonna change. I don't know. Once again, believe it or not.
Yeah, apparently we've done a ton of these episodes, and apparently I'm not going anywhere.
Hey man.
Hey man.
Might have to replace you, Zach. Sorry.
Don't replace me. With who?
You can't replace me. I live here.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just in the background. Like I got fired, and I'm just here.
You're just sitting in the background editing. You're just like, I hate you guys.
No, so today I wanted to actually ask you something because I've thought about this a lot actually recently. And so what application do we use to talk usually?
What application do we usually use to talk?
To speak to each other normally. What is the first thing we choose?
Snapchat.
Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Snapchat. Why is it Snapchat?
I don't know. I think the reason why I like to use Snapchat so much is because, like, when I'm having an active conversation with somebody, I'm able to see when they're typing or like, you know.
But you can do that with iMessage.
Yeah, but it
and Line. And WhatsApp. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. That's a good question, actually.
The reason why I bring this up is because, like, well, we talked about it in the other episode where we were like, how most kids nowadays, especially in high school and middle school, they care about their blue bubbles. You know, like you have an Apple, you have iMessage, you have Android, you have a green bubble, right?
Right.
But how much do we actually use that to communicate with our friends? I mean, to communicate with my family members and stuff, then I'll use messaging, just normal text messages, SMS, right?
Yeah.
But for talking with our boys and stuff, it's usually Snapchat. Or for Twitter, maybe even, or Discord. We never converse through iMessage, and we have the blue bubbles, Zach.
I know that's the weirdest part is that we both have iPhones, and you were giving me a bunch of shit because it would switch between the blue and green bubbles because I switched.
Well, I wasn't giving you shit. No, I didn't. I wasn't giving you shit. It was banter.
It was wholesome, meaningless banter, but it was just kind of funny how
you're gonna make it look like a hypocrite, Zach.
Yeah, no, but that's a really good point because I never really realized that.
Right?
It's like it's one of those things where you don't really realize that you're doing something a certain way until someone points it out.
Okay, then why did we care so much about it, Zach, in high school?
I don't know.
You can't tell me you didn't care. At least, I mean, I know we both rocked Androids in high school. Well, no, actually, no. I had an iPhone in high school, but I rocked an Android in college. But you had the Note, right?
Yeah, I had. I rocked Android all throughout high school.
Right. You can't tell me you didn't. As a high schooler, we can admit this, Zach. You can admit it. You didn't feel a little self-conscious.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it too was like I would give someone my phone to like take a picture or something.
Oh, the classic.
Like,
how do you use this? I function in modern technology, but I don't know how to use a camera app on a different phone. Shut up. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
It's you point and click the button, Zach. How easy. You're in high school, Zach. Come on.
Yeah, and the funniest part was when I would ask someone to take a picture and then they would just refuse, like, I don't know how to take a picture on that. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. But it didn't really end there. Like, if anyone needed to access anything on my phone and they were, like, stereotypical Apple users, it was just kind of like, I don't know. How do I get to the photo gallery? And I'm like, bro.
It says photos.
It says photos.
Just click the photos.
Just click.
What do you mean? I understand, because for someone like who might have different, because of the way Android versus Apple's work, right? Yes, we're doing this again. I know,
God.
but not really, because I want to focus more on messaging, because it's something that I feel very particular to, because I find it super stupid. Even though I have an iPhone, I find it stupid because we don't use it barely anymore.
Right.
We use Snapchat. We use, all these sorts of different apps, even in, like, especially in the East, right? Like China and them, they're using WhatsApp. In India, they're using like I think, well, in the current state of times, I think people are not using WhatsApp anymore because Facebook is cracking down on crazy shit. So now people are moving to like Signal and Telegram.
Yeah,
I believe. But that's the thing, right? It's not. They're not using iMessage. Nobody even in the East, nobody bats an eye on iMessage. Just nobody uses it.
Yeah,
they'll use Line, or WhatsApp again, like I said, or Signal, or all these different type of things.
Yeah, or like there are so many different ways to get into contact with people. You could use like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. Like there are just so many things that you can use.
Yeah, because I used to think like the reason why I never did it in the first place, because in high school I never used Snapchat or anything.
Yeah.
I had a Twitter, of course, but that's because I was doing the Call of Duty editing, right? Yeah. But in general, I only ever texted my friends and called my friends, right? And I never got the whole craze of that, because back in my day, that's when Snapchat started popping off. And when we were in high school. That's when it first, maybe not came out, but that's when people started using it very frequently. And I always thought it was strange. Like, why would you move to a different application that's proprietary, or you can only speak with other people who have this app, when we have normal SMS messaging where I can message, even though I have an iPhone, I can message someone with an Android. Why, if we already have that, then why would I add a proprietary option to do so? And it made me think. I still don't know why.
Yeah,
I still don't know why. Why do we do that?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Because like we sit there and we talk about when Snapchat wasn't very common, or like, when people weren't using Instagram to message people or whatever it may be, like even before WhatsApp back in my day. But now in 2021, it's like everyone has Snapchat, everyone has Instagram, most people have Twitter.
Yeah, it's weird not to have a Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a really rare occurrence to see somebody who doesn't have a Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or something like that.
But it's strange because we only all have that because everybody else has different ones, and we need to be able to communicate with each other because we all use different apps. But then why don't we just, you see where I'm, see what I'm saying? Why don't we just use normal messaging? And now here's the difference, right? This is where international comes in. Because you have to pay extra to like use standard telephone and SMS internationally.
Yeah.
So now if you want to talk with someone in British land, you can use Twitter or those types of apps, and it works seamlessly.
Yeah.
Because that's Wi-Fi, and that's not through the. I don't really know how telephone, that type of stuff works very well. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet.
Right.
But it's different. I know it's different. So that's a reason. Sure, that's a reason. Sure.
Yeah.
But. Yeah.
I mean, it honestly really depends on what your use case for it is, because like,
well, if it's like Twitter or something, then that's just, Twitter is already its own thing and it happens to have messages.
Right.
And same with like Facebook, right? But Snapchat.
But Snapchat is an interesting one because, I mean, I use Snapchat in a very weird way, and this because you have me on Snapchat. It's literally nothing but memes.
Yeah.
And
me too. Well, because I don't use stories. I don't
either.
I never. Okay, first of all, my life isn't very eventful, so it's not like I have anything to put in my stories. I started doing fleets because there's fleets now on Twitter, and it's literally just stories, Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, and I started doing that just to test it out because Twitter is my main social media of choice.
Right.
So I figured, why not? And it's pretty cool, actually. It's pretty cool. So it's my first time dabbling. Boomer here over here doing stories for the first time. Yes, I know, but
boomer talk.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's fine. But now I started to think, all of these applications are, at first it was a whole thing of everybody get their own applications, and then we'll download the same ones and talk with each other with those applications respectively.
Right.
But now we're moving into, Twitter has Twitter has the fleet of stories now. Instagram got the stories from Snapchat. Right now, every single one of these social media or just communication apps are developing ways so that they have everything. So you don't need other ones.
Yeah,
so you don't have to go to another application if you want to do stories. It's on Twitter now.
Yeah, that's the really interesting situation that we're put in now, because I remember back when Snapchat stories were super, super new.
Yeah.
And it was just such a weird thing. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. You can send a Snapchat to everyone who you're friends with, and like, oh, that's cool. And
this is just but this is just a tweet that only your friends can see.
Yeah, it's like it's essentially a video tweet that only your friends can see.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not super prominent on Twitter, and you know this because you've been trying to get me on Twitter for the longest time.
Yeah. But it's funny because I am.
Yeah, you're super active on Twitter, and like I'm super active on Instagram. Yeah, because I literally have 3 Instagram accounts.
Good
Don't
for you.
judge me. Whatever.
I have like 5 Twitters. It's okay. No worries. It's all good.
Yeah, but we all kind of have our own preferences when it comes to what social medias we like to use. And like, I cast absolutely no judgment towards you because you use Twitter as opposed to Instagram or anything like that. It's like everyone just has their own way of doing things, their own things that they prefer. And so
I mean, that's fine, but it's interesting how it's so divided. And we can't just be on one finite, well, not finite, I guess that's not the right word, but one, like there's no one social media to rule them all. I mean, you can argue that Instagram or Twitter might be that because it's the one that's not boomery, right? And it's like Facebook, and it's not as trendy as Instagram. It's just, and everybody has it. You know, you can argue that that's the most streamlined one that isn't, cringe, I guess. Like it's the one that you'd expect.
Yeah, but also at the same time, if there was just one social media to rule them all, there would be things that were left to be desired.
Yeah.
And so I honestly really like the fact that everyone just kind of has their own social media that they like to post on, that they like to interact with people on.
Yeah, I mean, if it was only Instagram, then I'm personally not an Instagram user, so I would feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have different, because like Twitter being able to have stories now and there's the new Spaces thing where you can have talk with people, which is something like oh gosh, there's an app that did it. What is it called?
I don't know.
I forget what it's called, but basically it's like a pod, like kind of like this, except it's live and it's just audio, right? It's like audio podcasting or whatever. I don't know, live basically. But now you can do it on Twitter.
Oh,
yeah. Huh. So we can have a live version just through Twitter if we wanted to.
Dude, that'd be cool if we did like a live little special thing.
Maybe we do that.
Twitter.
Maybe we do that.
It would probably end up being on your Twitter.
Yeah, it would be mine, because I don't plan on making a Twitter for this, because one, it would be strange to manage it because we don't do anything outside of this. I mean, we could, but it's not in the plans at the moment.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know. I'd rather advertise it on my main traffic location. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because we both kind of have our own little communities in our own separate things.
We do, yeah. I mean, you can promote this stuff on yours as well.
Yeah. And
when it's out and stuff.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that, you have the community on Twitter and on YouTube. And I have a little community of my own on TikTok.
Yes.
And so I'm able to just kind of send it out to all the homies over on the TikToks.
Yes, on the TikToks.
And so that's just super cool, and that's what made me really excited about this, because that would be like our worlds colliding.
Yes.
In a way, because the community that you have is very vastly different from the community.
Oh yeah,
that
for
have.
sure. I will accept my boomerism on TikTok. I'll accept it. I don't care. I'll take that L.
No, well, I mean, it's not even just boomer. Like, it's not you being a boomer. It's you deciding that you want to stay on Twitter and or stay on the social medias that you've been using.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I just wanted to post like just shit post on some type of social media where there wasn't very much judgment. And so, I decided that
that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. Twitter is not. Yeah, if you're very not prone to judgment, then Twitter is a perfect place. But
yeah, and I mean, TikTok isn't necessarily like a safe haven for shit talking.
I would not imagine.
But at the same time, the weird and the wacky is a little bit more generally accepted on TikTok. And there are some weird shit on there. We could just talk about that all day.
It's one of the reasons why I haven't gotten too into TikTok, because in my mind it's Vine but cringe.
Yes.
More cringe than Vine because they've given people too much time to work with. And no offense, but every time I see like popular TikToks on Twitter that gets posted on Twitter, if it's not ironic, like sometimes it's ironic and it's obvious, right? And that's what makes it funny. Right. But when it's not ironic and it's literally them like, I don't know, doing weird noises and you know what I mean? Like stuff that I'd imagine kids would get super down with,
Yeah.
And that sounds strange, but that's like everywhere on TikTok.
Yeah.
At least that's what I see. Coming from someone, this is coming from someone who doesn't use TikTok, right?
Right.
So I could be vastly wrong.
Yeah.
Feel free to judge me, sure, but feel free to correct me.
I mean, you're right.
It's there, right?
Yeah. It's totally
like
there.
The cringe stuff where you're like, and then you just keep going, you swipe,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you're looking for it, you're gonna end up seeing that type of content really anywhere.
Yeah.
But also one of the nice things about TikTok is that the For You page is a lot like the YouTube recommended, where it's all just stuffed based on the people you follow or the stuff that you have watched and liked and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so if you didn't accidentally send yourself down that rabbit hole, you probably aren't too prone to see it. But that's the same thing with the cringy Minecraft YouTuber stuff on YouTube. But okay, I'm not throwing hate towards the Minecraft YouTubers. It's the
I haven't seen very much of the current gen Minecraft current gen. Did I really just use that term? Jesus. Oh my lord.
Jesus.
The current I don't even know who they are. I only know Dream because of the whole world record controversy that for some reason people care about.
I'm yeah.
How much do you care?
No.
I guess if it's a world record, I can see how there's definitely momentum, or there's definitely like a more, what's the word? It's on a higher pedestal, especially in his position too, right?
Yeah. And if we can go on a Dream tangent for just a second.
Sure.
So one thing that I will say, especially about Dream, is that he is a very, very good Minecraft player.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there was really anyone who I would think would do this type of thing legitimately, it would be him. But also at the same time, there are a lot of people out there who are really, really good players at any game, and then they decide to cheat just because, like, they want the world record or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the kind of hard thing is when you're talking about somebody who has millions of subscribers on YouTube and kind of has that expectation for him to be doing crazy shit. I guess.
When he's put on that type of pedestal, it definitely makes it a lot harder for him to it's like, it's a shame, but when you're in that, when you have a certain position, when you oh god, that was gross, excuse me. Just water, by the way. Just like the shot that they put in my arm, just water. So I believe in 5G and Wi-Fi 6. I'm not tinfoil hatting, okay? Just so you know. I believe in electric cars and e-currency. Before I was like, that was a joke. I believe in modern medicine as well.
Wait, what? We literally made an episode about electric cars and e-currency.
Oh, we did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi 6. We just upgrade. We have 5G now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but my phone can't do 5G, so there's no point.
Wait, your phone can't do 5G?
I don't think.
What?
The iPhone, actually, I could be wrong. I think the 5.
Wait.
I think the iPhone 11. Wait, it might. It might not.
It might not.
Yeah. Yeah, the iPhone 11 does not. The iPhone 12 does. So I'm right. I thought so. I was pretty sure. But I mean, that means I'm able to now. Well, then again, see, the thing about 5G is that it didn't become prominent until after, I believe, the S20. I think.
So I know that there was phones that were doing 5G.
They had it, yeah, but prominent. But it didn't become like a standard. Like, okay, new phone, 5G.
Yeah. New phone, 5G, and strictly 5G. Yeah, that's definitely something that's a little bit new.
Yeah.
How did this go to a 5G tinfoil?
Okay, because I needed to let everybody know that I'm not tinfoil hatting the COVID shot. Okay, I got my 5G shot. We're chilling. I'll buy my Microsoft Surface and I'll sign up for Facebook now for some reason. I feel this very strong urge to sign up for Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really want an Oculus Rift too.
Oh man, I really want to invest in the Facebook stocks, and I don't really know why.
Okay, so but when you're in that high pedestal that you are, it's a shame, but you have no area to make mistakes.
Right.
That's what I'm getting at. Like because Dream, again, I don't know anything about Dream. I haven't watched anything. I don't even know what he looks like. Like that's.
I don't think anybody knows what he looks like.
Oh, does he not have? Okay, well I've never even seen a video.
Okay.
Or a clip for that matter. I don't even know what he sounds like. So that is what the context behind what I'm saying. So it's very outside source, but I'm speaking in general now. When you have a subscriber base or just a platform that you've lifted yourself very high off, whether you meant to or not, you all the room for error is basically gone. When you make a mistake, it becomes a big deal. It's trending on Twitter, that type of thing. And it's a shame because now they're seen as this perfect individual. They should not make a mistake because they are perfect. They should check all the boxes. They should be like a god, right? They should be a god,
right?
Basically, and it's sad for that to be the case because it's mob mentality type thing, right?
Yeah, and that's how you end up getting put into a situation where you start to deal with cancel culture and those types of things.
We already talked about cancel culture. Let's not talk about cancel. Wait, did we?
No, I don't think we have yet. Wait. Oh gosh, hang on. We've filmed too many episodes.
We have filmed too many episodes at this point. I talked about cancel culture in my stream. I know for a fact.
Yeah. I mean,
we can talk about it again if we talk. We'll do it again.
I mean, okay, we're gonna go on a little bit of a side.
I don't
quest.
care. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's go. Let's do this. I have a lot to say about this bullshit, Zach.
This bullshit. Yes. Okay. So I'll start this conversation, and then you can just take it and just fucking run with it.
I will, bro. I will 400-meter dash this.
Okay. So I'm gonna start this first and foremost. So I believe, with every ounce of my being, that there is absolutely no reason why you should scrutinize or put into light something someone did many years ago. And I mean, there are so many different layers to different situations, so I'm just gonna kind of speak generally.
Yeah, it's general. I mean, obviously, if you committed like a felony, years ago, then obviously that's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's a reason why people get put on lists.
Yeah, exactly. But for cancel culture, the bar is very low as far as like it's like, oh, he said this word when he was 12 on Skype.
Oh my gosh, dude! It's like the PewDiePie bridge thing. Okay, well,
that's a little different.
That's a little different. And you start to just kind of see how cannibalistic the mainstream media can be at times, because they'll sit there and take something that somebody said 10 years ago and turn it into something that they're trying to make it sound like that's something that someone would say now because they said it 10 years ago.
10 years ago, comedy was different. Vocabulary was different.
Oh yeah.
Now, am I defending it? No, because frankly, back then vocabulary was very bad. In my opinion, we said some really bad things when we were kids. And as we age on, I think they say worse things before us, and they said worse things before us. So listen. Not to put. I'm going to use you as an example, but not to put like your family into any sort of beef. Of course, I don't. If you had an older relative who owned slaves,
right?
I obviously they're probably past now, because that was obviously a very long time ago, but assuming that they were still here today, I would probably guarantee you that they probably would not use those terms that they did back then.
Right.
I mean, it might, even if it might be a little distilled into their vocabulary, and times have changed a lot, but in general, imagine like a slave owner, and one point in time, Civil War happens, and now there's no more slaves. I mean, there's still the racism thing, but you know what I mean, right?
Right.
The vocabulary changes, community and speaking changes.
I mean, you can go back even not nearly as far. You can go back to my grandparents. They were born, in the 1930s, and so they were actually like grown ass adults when we were dealing with all of the segregation issues and all of that kind of stuff in this country. And so when you think about how much things have changed since then, and the fact that they were able to just kind of adapt and mold to the way that society is now, obviously, was it wrong for them to be speaking the way that they were back then? Of course.
Yes,
but was it a part of the culture? It was.
It was. It's a shame, but it was. You cannot say that it wasn't.
Yeah, and so, you can't really sit there and put today's eyes on something that happened a really long time ago.
Yeah, or what today's eyes that's going to in the future.
Yeah.
Because shit, what if things get so watered down, that we can barely even say, who knows, Yeah. Who knows what happens in the future, how vocabulary changes. It's always going to change, it's always going to develop. If it's good for a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. We don't know that. I mean, when we were speaking the way we were speaking like 10 years ago, we didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's definitely the hardest part, is just kind of trying to figure out where that line is.
It's you don't know that line.
Right.
Because it hasn't become a line yet.
Yeah, the line hasn't been drawn yet.
It hasn't. And we would like to think that we would like to have our vocabulary in some utopia where there's no racism and there's no offensive. It's not going to happen, Zach. It's a shame. And I would love for everything to become gumdrops and lollipops and stuff. Maybe not to that extent, but obviously, no, okay, not be racist, right? I feel like that's probably a good thing. But it's just people are different. People are raised differently, and you can't just create some sort of law that. I mean, we already do have laws for that, right? And it hasn't happened. There's a reason why it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and when you sit there and really boil it down to its simplest form, you have everybody in this world is different in their own way. They all think differently, they all act differently, they all say things differently. Like, everyone in the world is so vastly different that there is absolutely no way that you can make every single person happy.
No.
And so when you look at the world in that way, it really starts to make it abundantly clear that there's always going to be disagreements, there's always going to be problems, there's always going to be all of these types of things, but try to make the majority of people happy with anything.
Yeah, maybe we don't talk about racism. Maybe.
Yeah, it becomes such a hard thing to talk about when you are a straight white dude. Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about. But yeah.
Anything to do with any culture that isn't my own, as
long as you get it. Long as you get it, you understand.
Yeah, I understand. Like, I am just
You're just a walking racism billboard, Zach.
No, that's not how this works.
I'm just kidding.
I know. But anyways, to just kind of segue into something a little bit more positive. I mean, as much as people will sit there and rally against people or organizations or anything like that, there's always going to be those groups of people who are actually trying to support good things and push a positive future for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a person or a company or whatever and they did a bad thing in the past and it's brought up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not, in my opinion, that's not cancel culture. That's, hey, this is something wrong. You want to talk about it and then do something, do like a public press or whatever.
Right.
Or whatever. Because going back to social media, Zach, it's so important to us right now. like Twitter or Instagram. Back in the day, Zach, when a company, an organization had to make a statement, you know what they did?
They wrote it in the newspaper.
They wrote it in the news. Not even that, bro. They had a blog post, an article, news sites. You know what they do now, Zach? They tweet it.
That is so weird.
They make a tweet, Zach. I can make a tweet. I couldn't make a public statement on a blog post. I mean, I could have, but who the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They tweet it. I mean, obviously, there's probably another form of authentication, of course, right? Probably,
yeah.
right?
It's
not just some social media guy. The social media team just makes a tweet, and all of a sudden, that's the course of the entire company, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just gonna be something as simple as like, I fucked up, my bad, G.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be one of those, but like,
but that's what it is right now.
Yeah,
a public statement, a press statement,
like a press conference,
press conference statement, like a very important dignifying. It's just a statement, I don't know what else is. I don't know what else it is. That's what it is. The boardroom, the business tie, we had this meeting. This is the course of our company going forward. It's a tweet. It's a Facebook post and an Instagram post.
Yeah, that just does not sit well with me because it's just like.
But I don't know, Zach. Why wouldn't it? Because everybody's on Twitter, so everybody's going to see it. Everybody's on Instagram. Everybody's going to see it.
So
how many people read the blog? Did you read the blog post when you were a kid?
No. But
these kids are on Twitter.
That is true.
These kids seeing it on Twitter, they're like, "Oh, hey, this company is doing this now. I see."
Yeah, and I mean, as long brain fart. It's really weird when you talk about like all of the government officials posting stuff on Twitter, or like the Wendy's beef with whoever, or like oh my gosh, dude, there was just string of tweets that I found that was this girl got her phone taken away because she was spending too much time on Twitter, and then she was posting tweets on like her Wii and
her Wii?
Her Wii.
There's Twitter on the Wii. No, the internet. Are you talking about the internet browser?
Yeah.
Oh.
And do you want to hear the best part? The best part is she posted a tweet from an LG smart refrigerator. And then there was this company that was just like, we need to help this girl. I think it was LG. I think LG was like,
bro, yes.
Yeah, there was a tweet that went viral that said #free whatever her name was, but it's just so funny.
That's so great. But that can't happen on a blog post. That can only happen on Twitter, on social media, because that's that LG move that they did to send them a phone. Yeah. That's a publicity stunt.
Right.
Or publicity. Yeah, that's they're getting their name already just outwards everywhere, because she's tweeting from an LG refrigerator. Haha. Now LG is in the head of the people subconsciously. And now LG, their marketing team was like, we can do something with this.
Right.
So they send them a phone or whatever they did. Or a fridge. Hey, you can tweet from this. You can tweet from your own fridge now. I don't know. Whatever they did.
You get a Samsung smart fridge.
Well, not Samsung, an LG.
Or LG. My brain.
But
hurts.
but they did that, and they're like, whoa, LG did that thing. Now LG is in the brains of now it's more ingrained into the brain, because that's how marketing works, right?
Right.
You want your brand to be subconsciously burnt into your brain, so that way when you walk past the fridge aisle in Costco, I don't know if they have a fridge aisle in Costco. Probably not. Whatever. Just LG's. You pass by the TVs in Costco. You weren't even. This isn't even about TV. This is about their smart fridges and their phones. But you pass by an LG TV and you're like, oh, LG.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's a brand.
That's a brand.
I know that brand.
Yeah, I know.
That's how that works.
Yeah, and
marketing. I love marketing. Have I said that yet?
Marketing.
I love marketing.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, the way that companies try to put their brand, their company into the minds of the masses, they do it in very, very interesting ways, because obviously you would have the like the commercials on TV or YouTube or Instagram or social medias or whatever, but then when you have the the situations where you have companies like LG reaching out to this random girl who got her phone taken away on Twitter. And like, it makes absolutely no sense, but in the context of them trying to make themselves relevant on Twitter or, in that type of social climate, it makes sense. It really does make sense.
Have you heard the story of the ocean spray guy?
Ocean spray guy.
Ocean spray guy.
Yes,
it was the guy.
so.
Like this guy. What happened was he just like there's this guy, and he's just. I think he's. I don't remember exactly. It's been so long. But it's relative to this. He was like riding his longboard or whatever, and he just had ocean spray, and he was just happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He was just happy. He was just. I think he might have been singing. I'm not sure, but he was just chilling, and then for some reason it blew up. Like, look at this guy. He's just having a time.
He's just having a go. Yeah.
He's having a time, and ocean spray is like, hey, he's holding an ocean spray. We could do something with this. So they send him a shit ton of ocean spray, and now I think about ocean spray way more than I've ever thought before.
Yeah, it's really weird how they have found very interesting ways to put brands into your mind. Like, you sit there and think about the ocean spray guy, or like the only thing that I can think of when I see Old Spice is
the Old Spice guy.
The Old Spice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like, there are just certain characters or people that you see that just subconsciously associate themselves with that company.
Yeah, exactly. There's like the mascot, right?
Yeah.
The mascot of like a sports team. You recognize the mascot or the logo,
right?
And you're like, oh, that's the Seattle Seahawks, right?
Right.
It's that mascot that you have that works as well that works in this branding thing as well.
Yeah.
So this Old Spice guy, you walk by, you see Old Spice, and you're like, oh yeah, the Old Spice. I remember those commercials are funny.
Yeah.
I might pick up a stick or two, a stick of deodorant or two.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it just.
I mean, okay. What about like a? Going back to sports, when they when like an NBA, for example, they have they have the like a brand on their jersey.
Right.
Sometimes you think you're like, that. How much does that do? There's no promotion. It's just their name, but it's because it's their name that I know that on the jersey of the Portland Trailblazers is BioFreeze. I never knew what the fuck BioFreeze was,
Yeah.
Apparently, like it's in boxing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. In boxing, on the ring, on the shorts, on the glove. I think it might be on the. I'm not sure if it's on the gloves.
Right.
Everywhere there's brands and brands, and it might seem congested and crazy, but now it's like, oh yeah, I saw Red Bull on this guy's boxer shorts in a certain cut.
Yeah.
I know Red Bull.
Yeah.
That's a drink.
And I mean, when you talk about people being sponsored by companies, or, companies wanting to put their logo, like you talk about NASCAR, or you talk about, the people who are sponsored by Red Bull, the guys who are jumping out of planes and like all of that kind of stuff. When you see those videos, the first thing you think of is a company that it's promoted by, or the company that is sponsoring those types of things.
Right.
Or endorsing them.
Well, you might not, because sometimes it's pretty seamless.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, not seamless because there's logos and stuff are plastered everywhere, but seamless in the sense that they're not explicitly saying it.
Right.
But you can tell because, there's the logos and stuff, and there's two different types of marketing, right? There's passive and there's maybe not, well, aggressive, sure, but assertive, right? Direct. Yeah. Like literally saying in the beginning of the video, this video was sponsored by blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah, this video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hey man, can't say some brands when we don't have it yet.
Oh yeah, true.
Now we can't now we can't be sponsored by GoDaddy.
Oh damn it!
You see how this works, Zach?
Yeah.
So now we have to get the Squarespace because nowhere else will get it. See what you've done?
I know. I made a mistake.
You've made a mistake, Zach.
I made a. I'm
sorry. But no, I'm serious though. Like passive marketing, like literally just having their logo just anywhere, even if it's not even their name, just a logo, you recognize that,
right?
So it's really cool. I find it intriguing. Where are we going with this?
I don't know. We just kind of went, and I mean, this all kind of started with us talking about the social media.
Right. Just social media.
Yeah.
Well, Snapchat and stuff, and using it for messaging app, but social media in general, because it's it's a very fascinating thing to understand. There's actual classes for it,
Right.
because it's something that can be deeper than it is, especially if you want, to get into like a social media teams for businesses or whatever, you probably want to take those classes, because I took that class, and there's way more that I personally would ever care about. And frankly, I can still probably work Twitter better than some businessman. Fuck you. Random businessman who thinks he can use Twitter better than me.
Yeah. And the weird thing to kind of think of is people are making their living off of Instagram.
Yes.
Or Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
Just the most weird random things. Like, people are able to make a career out of that. And that's just the most bizarre thing in the world to me. It's just like, holy shit, dude, I thought that Instagram was used for people taking pictures of food. Like, now someone's making that their job?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
It's a marketing thing now, know? And it sounds weird to say, but, why not?
Yeah.
We already talked about it. Anything can be monetized. Anything can be marketed. Anything can make money. So if you enjoy using Instagram, if I enjoy using Twitter, and I found a way to make money off of it,
fuck yeah.
As long as it's not like super like cringe, like addy, like how do I say it? Sellout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
as long as it's not like that, then yeah, I'm down. Sure, why not?
Yeah. The cool thing about living in the age that we live in right now is that you can literally make a living doing almost anything, and that's the coolest thing. And like, you and I have talked a lot about how you wanted to potentially, do some type of video production or something like that for a living. And like, I'm all for that 100%. And that's why I'm here to help you do your thing.
Yes, thank you.
And so, there are so many different avenues that you can go down that are not necessarily it's not something that you would have seen even 10 years ago.
No, not at all. Not even close.
Like, I'm sure that when Instagram first came out, I'm sure when YouTube first came out,
yeah,
they probably did not think that.
It was just another Vimeo. It's another,
It was just
another way to put some, like, to stream your video, just upload it and stuff,
Yeah.
Because,
and then,
there weren't very many of it at the time, but
yeah.
And another one popped up. Hey, let's go.
Sick.
Let's try it.
Yeah, and that was what, in like 2007?
Oh gosh,
2006.
2006. I want to say.
Yeah, but you look at YouTube back then and then YouTube now, it's just an entirely different thing. And like, there are so many people who are making a living doing YouTube.
2005.
2005. Okay, it came out a lot earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
Huh.
Nobody who made videos then were like, I can make money off this.
Yeah, YouTube monetization wasn't a thing.
No.
And like, even
it wasn't owned by Google yet. There were no ads.
Yeah, and you look at all the people who have been on YouTube for, 10 years plus, like when they first started, they probably had no idea that was going to be a potential career for them.
Well, the career stems from Google, and Google stems from advertisement. That's where they make their money, right?
Yeah.
It's all back to marketing.
Yeah.
All back to advertisement and marketing,
Right.
Oh man, it's really scary to think that, YouTube, frankly speaking, we can all be honest, YouTube is a shit platform.
Yes.
Like, for creating content, there's no support team. There's no, like, unless you have like connections. If you're a smaller YouTuber who is trying to make it, or even like, or maybe you kind of have made it, but you have an issue and you don't just so happen to have a YouTube contact.
Right.
You're shit out of luck. If your channel gets falsely terminated, you're shit out of luck, because there's no support team.
Better
YouTube
hope you have a second channel.
YouTube in itself is garbage. Like, it's a terribly run, terribly operated, right? But it's still so. It's scary that this is the platform that we're relying on. Something that's so based off of algorithm,
right?
Based off of a robot is determining whether I get a copyright strike or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing that kind of is unfortunate is that that's because there are so many people on YouTube.
Yeah, I understand that. You physically cannot have enough employees to be able to monitor it. And even if there was, they better be paid bank, you know.
Yeah.
I understand that. But the problem is when it does happen because it's robots, you know, it's AI. Something can go wrong.
Right.
They do go wrong. We already seen this, right?
Yeah.
Something can happen. And if you don't have a phone number to YouTube or someone who works there, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean it starts to get that way with a lot of really, really large companies.
Zach, do you know you weren't on Twitter when this happened, and this happened at like 3 a.m. This was maybe a year ago at this point. This was the moment where I realized we relied too dependently on Google. Around, oh gosh, I don't remember what day it was, but it was all over Twitter. And oh man, some of you guys, some of you watching or listening might know, but they're at like 3 a.m. or something. Google went down.
Oh my God.
Not YouTube, Google. Gmail, Google Drive, Google Slides, YouTube. It stopped working.
Fuck.
Right?
What?
And it wasn't for it was for like 30 minutes or so.
That's insane.
First of all, who the fuck had the kahunas to try and dox Google?
So
what kind of Omega Chad was like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, you know, the biggest fucking search engine on the entire planet. Hold my beer.
I hope he didn't get like arrested. He probably did. He probably got fucked.
Oh, dude, yeah.
There's no chance. They know where exactly. They know where everybody lives. They know where he lives too.
Dude, he probably got butt fucked by Papa Google.
Oh my lord, dude. Hopefully he's okay. But so the reason why I'm saying this is because it made me realize how dependent we are on Google, because Google owns so much, and I wouldn't consider Google a monopoly, but they own a lot of things because it's within their own community, within their own ecosystem.
Right.
But that ecosystem is so large. I mean, everybody has a Gmail. YouTube is just second nature to use, whether it be uploaded or used for watch content. Some people have YouTube TV.
Right.
Some people use Google Internet. Maybe I'm stretching my boundaries, but Zach, some people might be using Google Drive.
Including us.
Some people we might dabble in Google Drive. You know, some guys like us.
Yeah, some guys who like to keep their chaos organized.
Yes.
Yeah, and
when that's down,
it's
gone. What if Google somehow disappears?
That would be fucking terrifying. We would go, okay, the scariest part is that we would potentially go back to like the internet dark ages, because fucking the only thing outside of Google and things that Google has bought is fucking Bing, Yahoo. Like, who
the fuck uses Bing and Yahoo?
My dad.
That's what I'm saying. If Google just uninterruptedly, without warning, just disappears for whatever reason, we go to the headquarters and the headquarters is gone. Whatever freaking Tim Apple and Bill Gates was like.
Stephen Bills
was like, yeah, let's take care of this, and just decimates, just erases it from existence.
Just fucking Thanos snaps everything out of existence.
What would happen? I mean, Bing so search engines, they already exist.
Yeah,
they already do exist, and some of them are really good. You know,
right?
I mean, we meme about Bing, but Bing still makes searches, you know, and it still enters the databases, and it still works.
I mean, yeah, there are things like Safari, Microsoft Edge. I mean, fuck Microsoft Edge, but it's there.
Well, Edge is Chromium based now, so it's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it's Internet Explorer that's shit.
Yeah.
Edge is okay. I'll take Edge.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely like.
Well, I get what you're saying. There's a lot now.
Yeah,
you know,
there's more than there used to be, and I mean, you know, you sit there and think about how much people use Google. I literally use Google for my email address, for like organizing documents, YouTube, I use it as my main search engine. I use it to download a whole, like, everything that I use. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would happen.
Because I have very important things on Google Drive.
So do I.
Like, very important. I cannot lose. I mean, I have copies, but the Google Drive exists so that I have more copies.
Right.
Right. But not a lot of people have the same copying practice as I do. Not a lot of people are able to just have multiple hard drives for different arrays of copies and different, different multiple passes and a Google Drive subscription. Not a lot of people have that. Well, I mean, they might not have the drives, but they might have the Google Drive subscription.
Yeah.
Right? And those important files and documents, the deeds to my house. God, please don't have your deeds to anything that important on Google Drive.
Yeah.
Maybe not that, but like important, like, I don't know, maybe if you're a business owner, a business things, to be on the cloud, right? You need those files even if like in the event that you don't have it physically anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, having digital copies of things is super, super important. But when you rely on something like Google Drive, something that is not going to be around forever, and that's kind of a hard thing to really sit down and think about. Like, there is going to be a time when Google Thanos snaps out of existence.
I don't think Google will ever Thanos snap.
Okay, well, that's
but
not...
go down.
Yeah.
There will be a time where might be some mass, I don't know, internet attack, and Google is part of it.
Yeah.
And then it might not be down for 30 minutes, it might be down for days, weeks, right? Maybe. What happened? I don't know. Anything can happen. We talked about this. Anything can happen.
Right.
Life is just, people are just plotting, bro. People are plotting. Anything can happen. So what if Google just Thanos snaps, or even for like more than a day? Some people are living off of Google Drive through the day,
Yeah, people are using spreadsheets and all those types of things to exist.
If there's a company that doesn't use Microsoft Excel, and they only use Sheets, if Google is gone, what are they doing that day, that week, that month?
Nothing.
They're not doing anything, Zach.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
They can't do anything because they don't use Excel.
Right.
And then vice versa. Well, Excel is like, you download it or whatever, right? But what if you don't? What if you use Office 365? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what
when
you're
you're
saying.
relying on these mega things that exist in the internet, in cloud, it's awesome, but if it goes down, then we're screwed.
Right.
It's very scary to think about how much power that Google and all these companies have, that once they disappear, then chaos would literally arise. So physical copies are cool.
Physical copies are
hard
really
drives
cool.
are very inexpensive nowadays.
Yeah.
You can get 2 terabytes for like $50.
Yeah.
Even less if you want to get a slower one. If you primarily all you need is, you're never going to read or write from it, you just need to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Why not? Get a super slow hard drive and stick it in there.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're sitting there just talking about like bulk storage, like you need a lot of terabytes and you don't have a ton of money, like, those low end drives aren't really that bad.
No, not at all.
Like
I mean, if you're not going to write, if you're not going to read and write from it at all, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I have a 1 terabyte hard drive that I found from my grandpa. That's from like circa 2009.
Hey man.
Hey man. It's a terabyte.
It's a terabyte's a terabyte.
A terabyte's a terabyte, yeah, for sure. But like, it's definitely not the greatest thing in the world. Its read and write speed is just absolute dog shit. But like, for bulk storing a whole bunch of different files and photos and those types of things, it's not a bad option. So like, it is what it is. Whatever.
Yeah. Physical copies. That's all.
Physical copies.
Just internet. What is it all about? The internet is vast and it's probably the greatest thing to ever happen to humanity.
Oh yeah.
But it's very scary. So don't rely strictly on internet. Use it as a tool.
Yeah.
To better yourself, to make sure that you have everything situated to communicate with the people, to make sure that you can function. Use it as a tool to help you function.
Yeah.
But don't make it be your function. That's all.
Right. That got super philosophical.
As it should.
As it should.
As it should.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everybody for listening for today. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Smash the like button. Y'all know the deal. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
We have Coffee link down below if you would like to contribute in that way. But if not, a like, a subscription, a comment, greatly appreciated.
Yes. All right. Anything you'd like to say, Zach?
Bye.
All right. I was looking for a message.